Hello. Well, for those of you who watched my last video about what I saw when I was 9 years old, I did explain that I was going to talk about my experience I had last night in my next video, which I did that video tonight, and I figured I better go ahead and do this next video tonight also. I was going to wait till morning, but like I said earlier in my other video, I'm already starting to forget pieces of it, so I'm going to go ahead and do this video tonight so that I can at least get out there, as much of it as I can from what I remember before I don't really remember hardly any of it at all, if at all. Like I said in my last video, I literally feel like this experience that I had last night is being removed from my memory. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the only way I can describe it. Okay, the only way I know to describe it. So, last night, I was listening to some relaxation, like binaural beats, beta waves music. It was 8 hours of it, and I've been having some trouble sleeping at night and waking up a lot, if even going to sleep at all. And so I decided to listen to that, 'cause that type of stuff, music and the binaural beats, it always helps to relax me and helps me to be able to go to sleep. Okay, very recently, I had stumbled across some stuff about starseeds. I was very intrigued by it because I have always looked up at the sky and thought, I just want to go home. I've always been very homesick. Like I said in my last video, I was raised in a Christian home, Mormon home. My dad was a bishop and everything, so I was taught, Gospels, the Mormon gospel. I learned about God and Jesus and the Holy Ghost and the Bible and the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, and other scriptures and teachings from the Mormon Church. As I got a little older, in my early mid-20s, I started investigating the occult, witchcraft, things like that. At first, yes, it was of the darker side, but as I learned that was not a good idea to mess with, I learned that pretty quickly. Even though I was taught not to mess with that stuff, I was always intrigued by it, and I'm the type of person that I can't always go off of hearsay. I have to experience that myself, because it's like I want to know everything that I could possibly know. I mean, I've read books about some of the weirdest stuff that most people would probably find very boring. But I'm kind of a geek, so a nerd. Anyway, the starseed stuff intrigued me. As soon as I heard the word Pleiades and the Pleiadians and the Lemurians and light languages, and I literally became enthralled with all of this stuff, obsessed with it, to a point that I was watching videos about it constantly. I was reading stuff online about it. I was reading, books online about it. I even did a starseed quiz, and I got, out of 100, I think it was an 82 or 84%. And this website was like, you have cousins here, and you have been visited, and you will be visited again. Don't be afraid, they're here to help. It also said that I needed to I guess start my ascension process, learn as much as I can so that I can start, excuse me, my allergies are bad. I'm sitting outside. I live in Florida, and I'm just itchy, and my nose is blah. Okay. So anyway, I've been pretty much obsessing about starseed stuff and aliens. I've always believed in other planets. Of course, to me, it's very shallow to think that we're it. This is the only planet in the whole cosmos and in the entire universe and all the dimensions that are out there, which are numerous. We're it. Nobody else. I never adhered to that. I could never accept that. I never believed it. It always made sense to me that we're not alone. And I also always had this understanding that as a whole, at this point in our existence, human beings are not that intelligent. I mean, we are, but we have not reached our full potential yet. But this is the beginning of it, or at least one of the phases of it, because we've done this before. We've been through this process, but apparently we have to go through it again, because we didn't do so well the first couple times around. So, anyway, okay. I've been meditating. I've been eating healthier, or trying to, for the most part. Doing cleanses, I'm trying to quit smoking, which lately is not going so well. But I know that as I continue on my path, I know that things like smoking and, other toxic things, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, will start to fall away. And so I'm not stressed or worried about my bad habit, because I know that this is going to fall away from me. There will come a time where I just will not feel a need to do this anymore, to smoke. Okay. Oh, and I stopped eating meat. I've been, I love animals. I've always loved animals, so I've always felt pretty guilty about eating meat anyway. Even when I used to eat meat, I always felt like I'm eating an animal. Okay, so here goes. Last night, I'm laying there listening to my binaural beats, my relaxation stuff, just wanting to get some really good rest. I have a small dog named Sammy. He's about maybe 8-10 pounds. He's a silky terrier. And I have a cat that I rescued. I rescued a litter of kittens. The mother had died. These kittens pretty much just ended up in my lap. They were very emaciated. They were maybe 5 days old. There's a point to why I'm telling you about the kittens. Thor, my cat, who's now 7 months old, was the only survivor. I've rescued lots of animals. I've done this before, but this was the first orphan litter that I'd ever nursed or tried to save. I didn't have any help at all, so I was on my own with this and trying to keep all of these kittens warm at the same time and feed them and make sure they had all the nutrients was very taxing on me. I didn't sleep. I watched them constantly. I was very paranoid because I wanted them to live. Thor was the only survivor. Tough little guy. He's been through 2 lung infections and survived it. I bottle fed him. I mean, I was the first thing he saw when he opened his eyes. He's extremely attached to me. He follows me around everywhere. I mean, more than a dog even would. He sleeps next to me every night. He's, literally like my furry child. There's something very, very special about him. All animals are special. I love all animals. I have a great respect for all of existence, all of life. Even alligators. I don't want to pet one or own one, but I have high, high respect for them. They're in my backyard. Well, in the canal in my backyard. I think they're beautiful animals. All nature is, all of existence. There's beauty in all of it. So anyway, this cat, out of all the cats I've been around and have owned in the past, is different. He's very, very, very attached to me. He has separation anxiety. I'm exhausted right now. And he's just different. I don't even know how to explain it. He's very, very different. He likes water. He likes to play in water. He doesn't like fish. He likes sweet things. I was eating one of those little powdered donuts, and I shouldn't have, I know, but this is a while back. He stole it. He stole it and took off with it and ate some of it until I got it away from him because it's not good for him. Not good for me either. But it could make him really sick. But it didn't hurt him at all. Anyway, I'm laying in bed last night. I know I keep getting off track because this is hard for me to talk about. And I'm relaxing. And I'm wide awake. I'm very, very relaxed, but I'm awake. I have a nightlight in my room. And all of a sudden, it got really, really dark. My dog was laying, I was laying on my side, and my dog was laying, right behind me. Kind of on my backside. And he did not move at all. Did not move at all. And the cat, Thor, was laying right next to me right here. He kind of moved down a little bit, closer to my stomach. And oh my gosh, this is so hard to explain. It was almost as if, and it was actually exactly, I felt like Sammy was, something was controlling him. He was completely out of it, just sound asleep. Didn't move at all. Didn't respond, react, nothing. I felt like I couldn't move, so I wonder if that's how Sammy was feeling. Like he was trying to move or trying to bark or whine and just couldn't. The cat, however, could move. When all this was going on, I felt a presence. There were several of them. They weren't around me, they weren't around the bed. A lot of people describe stories like this because I've watched some stuff on YouTube after last night of beings standing around them. No, this was not like that at all. These things were above me and almost to the ceiling, except that the ceiling was gone. It was, I couldn't even see it. It was total darkness. I could barely see these things. They were huge. They appeared to be very, very large. I know they had really big heads, but I could barely even see that. Goosebumps. There were hands, long, stringy hands coming towards me. I could not move. I couldn't speak. I was absolutely terrified, and I was wide awake. I felt like these things were trying to coax me to go to sleep, and all the while this music was playing that's supposed to help me or even make me go to sleep. And at that moment I wanted to get up and turn that music off so bad because I felt like it was playing a part in all of this. It was dumbing me down, putting me into a too relaxed state at this point in time. So anyway, I could see these long fingers, hands, several of them. I would say at least 3 to 4 sets of them. And they weren't coming down all at the same time. It was kind of in a row. One hand would come down, and none of these hands touched me, but it was almost like they were trying to control me without touching me, with energy. They were transferring energy, but it was oppressive energy. They were oppressing me. I remember thinking, no, stop this. You do not have the right to do this to me. Go away. I was angry at first and curious too, but angry. And I was just leave me alone. Back off. Back off. I remember I kept thinking that really loudly. And the whole time, this was all a telepathic kind of communication that was going on between me and these entities. So then, I remember being able to barely move my hand, the one that was closest to the cat, and I put my hand on my cat, on Thor, and I remember just thinking, help me. I know you can help me. I don't know why I knew he could help me, but I somehow knew he could.